Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It is 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday, January 18th, 2023, and just mid-afternoon check-in. Hope everybody's doing well. Like I said, just checking in, do a quick review of what we saw today, and we're going to just mainly just talk about yen pairs. And I just wanted to show you this one chart first, and then we'll move on. So this is, as I've shown you, this is the Nasdaq 100 futures. And what you see over here is a volume profile. I don't use this all the time, but I do tend to use it when I'm actually taking trades on these futures index. I don't use them at all with Forex because they're really not very helpful with Forex, because Forex is a decentralized market. So if you put a volume profile on your Forex chart, you're only seeing the volume for your broker, for open positions with your broker. So not particularly helpful because it doesn't show you what the wider market is doing. And although it probably is similar to the rest of the market, I just don't find it all that helpful. But you can use it, and this is just a static profile. Basically, I'm not going to get into a whole discussion on volume profile, but basically the green area is what's considered like a value area where price tends to resort to, where the blue areas are like extreme areas, lower value areas, kind of where price may go to and then react off of. And then this histogram that you're seeing here is just the volume. So the bigger these nodes stick out to the right here, the more volume is being traded at those areas. So, obviously it makes sense. The further you get away from price, the less volume there is. And where price is, you tend to see the higher volume, right? That makes sense. So these nodes here that stick out, these are higher volume nodes. And then as you fade away from the current price, the nodes will get smaller. So that's what this green and blue area represent. And then this green line, which might be a little hard to see, this is called the point of control, and it just marks out where the highest volume is, which you can tell just by looking at the histogram, where this histogram sticks out the furthest. But anyways, it's still nice to have this line. So you can see the two trades I took today. Basically, we had some dollar strength come into the market this afternoon. And so we had some relatively neutral to negative dollar news this morning with the PPI numbers. The producer price index came in a little lower than expected. And while that's good news for consumers and stuff, it's not necessarily great news for producers because it means maybe they can't get as good of a price for some of their wares. So anyways, the PPI came in this morning. The dollar was under a little bit of pressure earlier, kind of chopped around, but it picked up some strength this afternoon. So on this, so that, again, as I mentioned before, dollar strength usually, although not always, usually correlates to lower stock market prices. And obviously this is a stock index for the Nasdaq, so this would be affected just as, the Dow or the S&P would. And so we did see it sell off. You can see I took two trades, two shorts. I took one here, got out here, then I took another small one. The POC originally was down in this area. So I took this second trade anticipating this thing would fall at least to the POC. That was my original take profit. But the POC shifted because this thing will change as the data changes. And I was seeing it was running into some support here. And then the POC shifted north up to here. So considering the time of day it was, this was maybe an hour and a half ago, I just closed it. So I took the two trades. They were both profitable. So on the day, and again, from a higher time frame standpoint, we still technically didn't reach this supply zone that I had up here originally, but at least for today, it turned out to be a decent trade. Now we might find support here on the 4-hour chart. You can see there is some support through here, and maybe this thing will turn back up tomorrow. But these were certainly intended to be day trades, and that's what I took. And you can see now we're just kind of moving sideways here, late in the session. So Okay, so let's just talk quick about yen pairs. So last night we had the Bank of Japan came out with their monetary outlook, and it was it was disappointing to the bulls, as you can see, because they basically didn't change their stance at all. And so during this huge up move last night was during the Asian session after the news came out, and you can see this is a couple hundred pips here. So this went up 285 pips in about let's see how many candles this is. 285 pips in 7 candles. So it took about 2 hours for it to cover all this ground. And you can see once London opened today, well, London actually opened right here. So you can see during the Asian session, later in the, about midway through, we started giving back some of those gains because it was a press conference. And so basically it wasn't quite so bearish. And so the yen started to strengthen again. And, you know, it's quite typical during the Asian session that the liquidity is, the volume's pretty thin, and the moves do tend to be pretty hyper. And although I didn't trade this, I kind of wish I did, but I really wasn't watching because I don't trade the Asian session. I did notice this when it was pretty much about up here last night. By then it was too late. Anyways, I certainly wasn't going to jump in after a big move like this. So I just let it go, figuring during the London and New York session, we would either get a continuation or we'd get a big reversal. And as you can see, we got a big reversal, and we pretty much erased all that move, and we came all the way back down again. So if you had taken this, hopefully you got out up here somewhere and took some profit and didn't hold it overnight, because you would have woken up pretty disappointed. Because only about 2 hours into the London session, you had already given back 75% of those gains. And it was pretty much the same story right across the board with all the yen pairs. So, you know, here's the dollar yen, same thing. You know, we completely reversed those. Aussie yen, same thing. It's pretty much the same. Any yen pair is going to look like this. Big move up, gave it all back. And so fundamentally, as I mentioned yesterday, you know, people are still pretty bullish on the yen. And so I would say, you know, after a move like this, that probably confirms it, that these yen pairs will continue to go down because, you know, certainly there was no follow through on this buying during the London or New York session, you know, gave it all back. So this was just kind of a hyperbolic reactionary move during a low volume period during the Asian session that, you know, everybody jumped in and jumped on board. And then, like I said, if you were unfortunate enough to have gone to bed and held this overnight, you would have been sorely disappointed when you woke up the next morning that you gave back a lot of your profits. But hopefully, if you did trade it, you didn't do that. So, again, you know, I would venture to say that we probably will see more downside. Now, the dollar yen is interesting, though, because as I just mentioned about the Nasdaq, the dollar seems to be strengthening. At least for today, it picked up some strength. So if the dollar continues to strengthen, then dollar yen might not be the best one of the yen pairs to trade. But then again, like I said, that might have just been kind of a, you know, an afternoon thing with the dollar. We might continue to see some dollar weakness. The rest of these yen pairs certainly are, you know, trading lower highs, lower lows. And so, although there is some uncertainty with them, as always. So let's look at Swiss yen, which was the clearest one. Swiss yen, you know, bounced right off of this resistance area. Okay, the support area, excuse me, yesterday, actually several days ago. This is the daily chart. Then this was that candle that started earlier when the market went up and came all the way back down. But technically, you know, we are still in a downtrend here. Again, lower highs and lower lows. This is a major area of support. But if this doesn't hold, then, you know, the next area of support would be, you know, the one here, and then there's another one down here. So there certainly is more room for this to run if it can, you know, continue to take out, you know, this area here, and certainly if it breaks below here. But you know, it's got a lot further to go. So again, my bias on the yen still is that it will continue to strengthen, but we'll see how it goes overnight, tonight, and tomorrow. I do expect potentially a little bit more of a bounce during the Asian session. Then probably a continuation of the downtrend tomorrow. But that's what I'm thinking anyways. So, and again, I think Swiss yen is one of the more clear ones to try to follow and analyze just based on the levels, and what it's done so far. So, all right. So, that's kind of a wrap for today. That was the main thing. The euro did find some weakness this afternoon too. Because the dollar strengthened, I did take a short on euro dollar, which I'm still holding. Not on this account. I just used this for demo, but you can see we kind of reached, I kind of had like a quadruple top here on the euro dollar. On the daily chart, there's kind of an interesting level off to the left here. You can see off to the left, we had kind of areas of support and resistance right through here. If I drop a line on there, you can see it just corresponded with where the price went to today. So, not exactly, I would say, a supply or demand level, but certainly it's a resistance level for sure. And, again, at least for today, the euro dollar fell back. But, there is kind of a structure right here. So unless we break this structure, I wouldn't say that we're in a bear market on the euro dollar now. I mean, we might just come down and, just hit this and then bounce back higher again. Oops. All right. So, but for now, it did respect this resistance level and came down. But again, I'm not sure how far that's going to go. This is the next area right here that I'm watching, for potentially a break to the downside. But if this holds, then we're going higher, and then I would expect a move at least back up to this area here or further. So, all right, but there was just some general weakness in the euro today. So this afternoon, especially, and the euro dollar was the best one of those to trade, with the dollar strength that came in on top of that. So, all right. So anyways, guys, I'll leave it there. Hope you have a great rest of your day and a good night, and we'll be back soon with another video. Questions, comments, please leave them below. Hit that subscribe button somewhere down the lower right corner of the video, and ring that bell notification below so you get notified when I post a new video. I'm trying to do a little bit more content than I have been doing. I can't guarantee it'll be every day, certainly, but I will try to do as much as I can. And if you do nothing else, please smash the like button down there, and helps the YouTube algorithm. And like I said, any questions, let me know. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.